Hi, I'm kylieklauscloud, and today I am Sister's new teeth. So after Ginny has disqualified herself from the competition, all of the girls walk back into the workroom. RuPaul comes on the TV. Oh, that's very strange. RuPaul says, due to the coronavirus situation, you all must sashay away. And then it cuts to 7 months later and they walk in again. So RuPaul walks in the workroom. RuPaul is in the ugliest wig I've ever seen. It is a neon green bus driver wig. Maybe it's a send-off to Ginny, but it's still ugly. RuPaul breaks the news that Veronica has gotten the coronavirus and cannot join us for filming. Veronica will be missed by some. So now that Ginny and Veronica are gone, this means that there are only 7 queens left. Unless this week's main challenge is a girl group. A Eurovision girl group. First thing that I thought when I heard this challenge, I said, hopefully it's better than Eurovision. The girl group challenge was one of the best episodes in season 1, and so I can't wait for it to come back. So they get to choose their teams. Team 1 is Lawrence, Tace, Ahora, and Bimmy. And the other group is Joe Black, Sister, Tia, and Ellie Diamond. So Lawrence's group is first up to perform. All 4 of their outfits are party themed. They're all very accessorized. They're all very fun. All matching, but not exactly. So Lawrence takes the first verse. This is not exactly Lawrence's strong suit, but I think Lawrence does well. A good rhythm. Lawrence is very clearly not a dancer, so they gave Lawrence the most easy choreography. Ahora has good rhythm, does a nice little sexy thing. She's very good performing on stage. You know, she's in key and she's comfortable with the song. So their group choreography that they do is easy enough that it can be done by all 4 people, but difficult enough that it keeps the judges entertained through the entire song. This is also like truly the most annoying song that I've ever heard in my life. But you know what? I will clap for the Bing Bang Bong. Tace makes a bunch of references to the season. She talks about herself, she gloats a bit, and she looks beautiful, sexy, and absolutely gorgeous the entire time. Bimmy has like a punk rock aspect. She talks about her gender, she talks about her pronouns. She enunciated, I could understand her. She looks like she has a lot of fun. She does splits on the stool. Overall, very entertaining. And to end the song, Bimmy gets up on a stool in 6-inch pleasers and jumps off the stool into a split. It's very reminiscent of when Aja jumped off that box and Milk said, is she gonna jump from there? So next is banana drama, or if I was British, banana drama. They are all dressed in pink, but all violently different shades of pink. What they are wearing is less cohesive than the other group. Even though the other group were wearing different colors, it matched more than what Banana Drama is wearing. Joe Black does not look good. Joe Black is in an H&M, like faux velvet, rose gold, peach pink, like poofy sleeved, ugly dress. I don't even care that this is from H&M. This is ugly. And it's also completely unaccessorized. There's not a necklace, there's no like jewelry anywhere, there's nothing here that is making it drag. And Joe is also in like this tiny wig with a little bit of a wave in it, which makes her head look enormous. Her verse is really awkward. It's a lot of standing around. There's no real choreo with this group. Whereas in the other group, during every single verse, they had choreo. This group, when someone has a verse, they're on one side of the stage and everyone else is on the other side of the stage, sort of watching them do their verse. The entire time you can tell they're failing this challenge because it cuts to RuPaul every time going, I think Sister's verse was all right. I thought what she was wearing was all right. She also did not have a lot of choreo. I think she had like a nice back and forth with girls. I think it was fine. Ellie has a lack of rhythm. Every single time it cuts to the judges while Ellie is performing, it's just Just blank stares all around. She may have been the best of this group, but definitely not the best of the night. I need someone to explain this group choreo to me. So all of the girls on the stage point to the girl on the end, who ends up being Joe Black. And Joe Black gives a thumbs up. Is this a reference to something? Is it supposed to be funny? What is happening? It looks awkward and confusing. I don't think any of them are having fun. I'm not having fun watching it. In the end, I think Tia gives the best verse of this team. I think if I had to move anyone from this group into the other group, I think it would have been Tia. Tia looks fine. She always wears things that make her torso look very lanky, and it does not look good. So the number ends and everyone claps except for RuPaul. So the runway category today is Day at the Seaside. Joining me today is a YouTube celebrity known for her hot takes on the girls. Back by popular demand, ladies and gentlemen, it is my mother. Ah, hello. So the last time that you were here, you critiqued outfits that they had made. This week, you're critiquing outfits that have been made for them.
Really?
I think that almost every single outfit on this show has been made for them, unless it's someone like Ellie Diamond who makes all of her own stuff.
Oh.
All of Tace's stuff, all of Bimini's stuff.
But from their designs.
Well, I'm not sure about that. Have there been any surprises this season for you?
Well, I don't normally watch the show, so I didn't know that it was a thing that you could invite people back. I thought that Joe Black went to the great drag show in the Beyond somewhere, so it was nice to see him back because I feel like I didn't get to know him before, and I appreciated him more and less than before.
Me too, in multiple points, yes. So this week's runway is A Day at the Seaside. So being from America, when you think of the seaside, what do you think of?
Well, I would think about, just because they're near Europe, I would think about something romantic like the Amalfi Coast or Capri or maybe
Somewhere
Malibu.
in France.
Yes.
Like lovely, glittering seasides. I would think of Miami. I would think of maybe in LA, a Venice Beach or something very romantic.
Yes.
This is not romantic. This is the UK, where they have gravel beaches and very windy coastlines.
I think they're cold a lot. I think it must be when you're gonna go to Cornwall or Yarmouth, you buy all these cute beach clothes and then you're covering them up with a cardigan. And I feel the disappointment. But I didn't really expect so many references to chips or fries in our country.
So first up is Bimmy Bon Boulash. So she is in this lovely, like, blue tulle sheer with a parasol and a nail. It is very fashionable. Do you like this?
I like parts of it, and I think this is something we're gonna come back to, or at least I will, where I feel these costumes or these looks were done piece by piece, and that, like all of them, they don't feel organic. I like the headpiece, which is very 1920s, kind of an aviator style, but I don't think that this in the least flatters her body.
I do enjoy that she has her shoulders out, the cut of this shirt, I suppose. It is almost gender bending, which is what Bimmy likes to do.
I don't get gender bending. I get gender avoidance. I don't think the body looks either male or female. I think it just looks like flesh and bone of really no description to me.
An alien.
Well, I mean, just kind of neutral, which is surprising because I think she's one of the most physical, the most physical of all the performers.
She did a split jumping off of a stool.
It just...
Did it make you nervous?
It made me want to make an appointment with my physical therapist.
So next up is Tace in this fishnet tan nude bodysuit. Now, I don't like this, and I'll tell you why I don't like this. This is a netted mesh bodysuit that she stuck a bunch of crap onto. She has all these seashells everywhere. I don't think it looks good at all. I don't like it.
Well, it does remind me of my elementary school teachers. You know, every month there would be a new theme for the bulletin board, and this would be what they would put up in June. You know, they just can't wait for school to be over, and it would be, see you next fall, summer's coming, and there would be seashells, although the color is just beautiful on her. It's not really my color scheme, but just I think it really does look beautiful.
I just really don't like it. I mean, of course it's made well, and normally when people wear outfits like this, when they put all the stuff on it, it begins to sag in those places. This does not sag, so in that way, it is made very well. I think that the hair and makeup are the best parts about this, and I really do not like the garment.
Yeah, beautiful makeup.
So we are going to talk about the battle of the fish and chips runway. First, we are going to talk about Ahora.
I mean, isn't that everybody's nightmare? You go to a cocktail party and somebody else is wearing your fish and chips dress.
Somebody else is wearing fish and chips.
I know. I think that it's kind of gruesome looking. You know, I know it's supposed to be ketchup, but it just feels so bloody, and it just, to me, it looks more like something from a slasher movie.
Did she stone any parts of this? This would have been a lot better if she had stoned and sequined all of this red, all of this on the glove.
What is that? What does it mean to stone?
When you put the little tiny sequins so that it's bedazzle, so that it's all sparkly and stuff, which I think she could have done on the fries. I think she could have done on this headpiece. All of the parts that are red, I think she could have stoned so that it would have, you know, glittered a bit on the runway.
What is she carrying?
She is carrying salt. That is a salt purse that she's carrying. So, you know, she makes a little performance of it by like sprinkling salt on the stage and whatever.
I like the shoes. They call it fancy dress. We would call it a costume. And I think it's too much of that, which I'm not sure was really what the brief was.
She says this is fashion, and I think the only reason that it is fashion is because it has a waistline and it has slicked back hair.
Yeah.
I think it balances on goofy, which I'm not sure Ahora was really planning on. I think she was going for camp, but make it fashion, which I guess this is. So we compare that to Sister Sister's fish and chips outfit. Now, this is worse in many ways. Let's start with the head. The hair is worse. Sister Sister does not look good in this hair. It is a very like tight curl close to the head. It reminds me of what Joe Black wore for the performance. I mean, a lot of the parts of this are the same. She is wearing a glove, except this time it's yellow and not red. She also has not stoned anything. This is just not flattering on her.
It's a bunch of red udders. Although seeing the hair, this kind of 1920s finger wave, it's making me think maybe I should start doing that. Because it's clearly a trend. You know, if 2 people on a show of 8 have it, it's got to be something I can do.
It's a huge trend in drag in general. You'll see this all the time, but does not always look good.
Well, I thought, you know, as you know, I was an art teacher for many years, and when I look at Sister Sister and I see her very odd bangs, you know, when she's out of drag, I think she has an issue with proportion.
Yeah.
And I look at this and I think the udders are too big, the chips coming out of her shoulder are too small, they're the same size as the arms, and I think it's really a proportion issue.
I don't like this shoe. I think this shoe is much uglier than the shoe that Ahora was wearing. If we were trying to go for fashion here, this is not fashion and it makes her look old. The best part about this outfit is the seagull on her head.
Well, you know, sometimes you just have to borrow somebody's catch-up dress. You know, you don't have time. You spent so much time on the seagull hat.
Can I have your fish and chips outfit?
Yeah, what are friends for?
I need to take its drag race. Next up, we're talking about Lawrence Chaney.
You know, it's interesting. Lawrence Chaney has come up with really a signature, sort of a contour that fits her body, and I almost feel that the costumes are getting to be besides the point. That it's really a Lawrence Chaney dress, and let's put, in this case, a lifesaver on it to fit the brief.
I like the color palette of this. I think she pads very nicely, so she does get that very nice shape, and I think this dress is normal. I don't think this is anything really mind-blowing. I do agree that the only reason that it is a day at the seaside is the life buoy on her head. So next we're talking about Ellie Diamond, dressed as a seagull. I have exactly one problem with this, is that her whole face, all of her jacket is white, and her hands are human hands.
This to me is another case of somebody who worked on individual parts, you know, the headpiece and then the bathing suit and the feet, and then just kind of figured they would work together as a whole. And I don't see that at all. I just feel like a committee came and just dressed her. Those sleeves, that's a lost opportunity to me, because those don't really have a wing-like effect.
They're very droopy.
Yeah, I think they probably could have had an armature or something. And I think that the head, maybe the beak could have been exaggerated.
She didn't need this wig. I think it would have been so cool if it had just been like a feathered look and gone up. I don't think she needed this long wig behind her either.
There was something kind of David Bowie-ish about the hair. You know, that swept back. I just feel it became so representational, so literal, that it seems a little safe. And I would say the eye makeup is that way for me, and also the beak. Just everything should be bigger.
Next, we're talking about Tia Coffee. What do you think about this?
Well, I never in a million years would have gotten that was an ice cream cone, or really any kind of a dessert.
I just can't understand how she made this or had this made for her, put it on, and decided, I'm gonna wear this on Drag Race. It's so baggy. It looks like a quilt that she wrapped around herself.
Well, the whole thing, and certainly after RuPaul just got so angry at the end, it really makes me think about the process that the drag queens go through. You know, like, do they ever just send photos to their friends of their proposed outfits and say, what do you think I am? Or does this look like an ice cream cone? You know, if I was going on Drag Race, I would get some of my trusted allies and I would have them say, no, you need more foam, or you need more texture for that to look like an ice cream cone.
Tia said that she was wearing big hair. She said no more flat wigs. This is a flat wig. It is slightly styled on the sides, but this is a flat wig. Tia lied to us.
Well, she might have fear of heights, and that's a process.
Lastly is Joe Black. This is one of my favorite outfits on the runway tonight. Now, if you will notice, Joe Black has stoned his props. All of these are all sequins, and all of the fries are all stoned as well, so that they're not just a sterile piece that they glitter in the stage lights.
It's so fun, and in a way it's too bad that it was such a quick runway look, because we have the opportunity now to look at all those details, and just, I mean, the way that the lipstick is also swept off the lips is just so smart and funny. And just what a crafts person. You know, I think this is just so much at a better level than the other costumes for the brief. So much fun.
I mean, there's so much, it's a messy amount of detail, which is good for an outfit like this. I mean, it's goofy, it's clowny. The only things that I absolutely do not like about this outfit are the tights and the shoes. I think these shoes are terrible shoes.
Well, I think that's the point. I think this is meant to be somebody you would see at a not very fashionable seaside resort wearing kind of sensible, well-made British shoes, and I would say the same about the hose. It's meant to be a character.
This is a very talented look, and it's probably the best on the runway tonight, conceptually. So the UK dolls win the challenge, so that means all 4 of them get a repeater badge, which costs 3 cents to make. So that means that all 4 of the other team are in the bottom. And now we start the judging. So RuPaul, just like the rest of us, hates Tia's outfit. Says it looks local, it looks regional, and is not meant for RuPaul's Drag Race.
I just never realized that the worst insult you could hurl at a drag queen is to be local or regional.
Michelle says that Joe Black's outfit is something from Primark, and Joe Black says it's from H&M.
I really felt like with that musical performance, it really showed that she is not a television performer. She has this suit of armor, a protective layer that makes her really hard to relate to. And television is, even if it's a performance, it's a more intimate experience than what she's used to in a cabaret. And I think that number just brought out weaknesses rather than her strengths, which are many. And it was a shame, but it's just not a good fit for the kind of person that is going to be rewarded on Drag Race.
RuPaul tells all of the girls, "Don't waste my time. I don't want to see any H&M," which is an iconic line already.
I wouldn't mind. It's part of the fast fashion and low wages for the people who produce it, and that would have been better if she would have, RuPaul would have said something of that nature. That to me is the big crime of H&M.
RuPaul is not a social justice warrior. She would never say anything like that.
Well, I mean, do you think she was in line with what she said? Because what I'm reading, people have come in, come in defending the queen, saying, oh, they weren't working, they didn't have the funds to make fabulous outfits.
But I think what RuPaul was saying in that moment alone, she said, if you are going to wear something from H&M, stone it, do something to it to make it not look like a dress from H&M. She could have bejeweled it, bedazzled it or something to make it look like it hadn't just come off the rack. So back in the workroom during Untucked, Ahora brings up the conspiracy theory that Sister stole her idea for her outfit. At the end of the day, I don't think it really matters since Ahora won, but this is a nice, fun, dramatic moment.
There was some kind of confusion whether they knew each other had brought that outfit and neither of them would blink. You know, there was some suggestion that Sister should have surrendered and said, your fish and chips is better than mine and I'm going to retreat.
That's not how this works.
I'm just amazed the two people thought of that.
Well, that's the conspiracy theory, that Ahora thought of it and Sister stole it.
Well, I mean, I guess if we were going to Virginia Beach, we could have both decided to do saltwater taffy costumes. I mean, that's what they sell at the beach. So I suppose if you had 10 people in this country doing Seaside, Virginia, we would all wrap ourselves up as taffy. It's possible.
Yeah. So Tia and Joe Black are in the bottom. So unsurprisingly, Joe goes home because an unspoken rule of thumb is that if you come back into a competition on Drag Race, if you're in the bottom, you're going home since you have missed most of the season?
Well, I have to say, Joe Black, the expression and the lack of enjoyment on her face was really what I would look like if I had to be on a dance-off, dancing for my lives and lip syncing. I mean, just, it was really painful.
So after Joe goes home, we now have a 35-minute filler episode called Queens on Lockdown, where we go to the queens' houses and we see their houses and their outfits and how are you doing during COVID and what has life been like and how has it changed and stuff. Did you watch it?
I did.
How did you feel about it? Did you feel sad? Did you feel happy? Were there any heartstrings pulled?
Lots of heartstrings pulled. They were so articulate about the fact that their livelihood was just pulled out from under them. I mean, I've thought about that a lot in terms of what if you were an actor on Broadway and finally, maybe you're 20 years old and finally you get a role and you're calling your family in North Dakota and you're so excited, and then all of a sudden the theaters go dark for a year. And so of course this really made it a very personal experience, just because we've followed these queens for however many weeks, and I just felt terrible for all of them.
Were there any really sweet or happy moments that you saw, such as Veronica's husband getting her out of bed?
I thought their boyfriends and husbands were just so sweet. They just all seemed like the nicest guys. And
can't have two divas in a house unless you're Taste and Ahora.
I mean, I guess the other thing that surprised me, and I don't mean to trivialize, is how many of them had neutral colored interiors, you know, whites and grays. I just thought their interior, their houses would reflect more their fashion sense when they're queens, but they just looked like houses.
I think at a certain point, a lot of queens love to wear all these costumes and stuff, and then just to go home to a nice neutral palette and have none of that.
Well, that seems to be. And look at you here.
I mean, look at my closet over there, and then look at the wall behind us.
Uh-huh.
I just have a few points that I would like to run across from this Queens in Lockdown. The first thing being that Tace puts ramen on white bread and eats it as a sandwich. That is disgusting to me.
Do you think she invented that, or is that
absolutely not? I think that is a British thing, because I know that the British will make anything into a sandwich. The British put potato chips on a sandwich and eat it.
Well,
I think that ramen in between two pieces of buttered white bread is disgusting. I don't think that she had to show that off, and I don't think that makes Britain look like a beautiful cultured country at all.
I don't like the way you put rice in your burritos. It's a starch and a starch.
So Ellie discussed that she was back in the drive-thru, which is really sad. I think the drive-thru is very depressing, and it probably is like that in other countries, and even more depressing in a pandemic. I wouldn't wish going back to the drive-thru on anyone. So Bimmy over this entire episode gets a lot of clip shows and clip packages of her doing drag on the street, doing drag in public, doing every single shot of this looks beautiful. She looks stunning in every single one of these clips.
I have a feeling if there was an award for hardest worker, it would be her.
Certainly would, yep.
Yep.
She discussed all of her brunches and all of her lunches and all of her dinners.
And she buys this chair and she does these impossible exercises. I just thought that was adorable and inspiring. It was adore-aspiring.
Adore-aspiring.
It was, yeah.
So next week is the Snatch Game. This is the middle of the season. This really shows who is going to be in the top 4 and who is going home. This shows the best from the worst, and it is one of the most exciting and looked forward to episodes of the entire season.
Highly anticipated.
Highly anticipated. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me again.
Oh, it was a pleasure to see you.
Back by popular demand. I'm Kylie Cloud, and I am the sing-sang song, the ding-ding-dong, and the bing-bang-bong.